I'm making the computer think. It's awesome.
You're making the computer think. I
Yeah.
did something yesterday to Google Translate that I don't think anybody on planet Earth has ever done. So I was at work and I was trying to find like the accuracies for something that I was working on. I was like a wrench or something. I put in there, this company got bought out like 4 different times in the last year. So I was looking for their patent number on this one tool because I needed the patent number to be able to look it up for the ISO certification. And I literally got Google to tell me, I forgot or I lost what you were looking for. Could you please input all the information that you had originally? And I'm like, what do you mean you lost all the information that I copied and pasted in there? So what it did is it took everything I copied and pasted and it searched them all individually. What the fuck? Like your job is to literally tell me the one thing that I asked you. I said, "Where's the patent number?" Because it got sold so many times and changed hands, it literally couldn't find the information that I was looking for. I didn't even know that was possible. This is the internet. This is AI, but we know it's flawed.
I mean, no, we just went through it with
I don't.
with Skittles.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Skid didn't know what Skittles. It didn't had no answer
Nobody
for it.
knows. Nobody still today has no idea.
You know who knows though? The aliens know.
We'll find out.
Oh, they know.
Holy
You know.
we're on the air.
Yeah.
Oh, I was reading the whole
Oh,
time.
yeah. Yeah. You're good. You're good.
Usually there's like intro music or something.
What
No, what if
candy?
I would have farted or something?
Oh, that's all right. What candy do you think, if you were an alien, what candy do you think they would like the most?
Warheads.
You think Warheads would be like the one they'd be like, fuck yeah,
Yeah,
Warheads.
Warheads.
Dude, I went on Amazon. I'm telling you right now, if Mandy listens, fuck it, whatever, she knows. I bought 2 giant bags of Sour Patch Kids, only the mixed berry. I only like the mixed berry, which is like strawberries,
Yeah.
peach, watermelon, and grape.
Yeah.
Yeah, they're so good. I forget, I'm terrible for you, but so good.
As I'm drinking a Mountain Dew.
Yeah,
But we just went grocery shopping and the wife's, can I get some candy? And I was like, no. She asks me almost every time. And I'm always like, no. Every once in a while I break
you're
down.
like, ah.
But I used to not be able to say no to candy.
Yeah,
Ever.
it's a hard thing. Yeah.
But like I'm a dental phobic.
Yeah.
Which is so weird. There's so many things I've done in life that you're just like, what? Weren't you scared or blah 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 or blah blah blah? I'm like, hell no. Fuck that. Blah 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 blah. But then it's, hey bro, it's time to go to the dentist. And I'm like, nah.
A what? A what?
Nah,
I fucking hate them too.
I'm only in a little bit of
don't like
pain. And dentists are cool and shit, and I get it. And this stems back from like when I was a kid, and I was like, yo, I feel that. And they're like, no, you don't. It's just pressure. It's not pain. And I'm like, motherfuckers, I feel this.
Here's
it hurts.
this is my take on
It's not pain.
this is my take, Charles.
Yeah.
Is it super expensive for the average person?
Yeah.
Sometimes if you have to go in there and say you need a lot of work done, it's multiple schedules for you to come in and get multiple things done to your mouth.
Dude. Well,
and then your mouth is sore as shit
well
for a week.
To add to that point, actually, one of my toothes here,
Yeah,
it went real bad, real quick.
I know. I remember you're on the show.
That one magically healed.
Praise I was going to say you cut off an episode because you're like, can't do it.
I'm lucky. I don't want to talk about it. I've been super careful. That one kind of went away. This was years past.
Oh, years past.
And again, all of these stories and everything inside of me. If you're listening, please go to the dentist regularly. I promise you, life is much better. But anywho. Mental health, heart health, blah, 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 blah. And those blah, blah, blahs are super important. Google it or Bing it, whatever you want to do. But so I go in and it's just infected. It's terrible and it hurts and it's bad. And I'm about to take a knife and cut my gums open or rip my tooth out with a pair of pliers. Mm-hmm. I don't care, right? And I'm like, I call the VA, see if they can do anything.
Right.
Sent me, like, I had a really great dentist up in Munising, great people, awesome people. Again, all this shit I talk about dentists, amazing people. Almost all of them I've ever met. I would feel really bad if I punched one in the face, but this is life.
You're like, it's just getting me through the doors there is the difficult part.
The one when I was a kid, douchebag. Rest of them, great. They've all been fantastic, right? It's just pressure. It's not pain. At this point in my life, you don't think I don't know the difference, dude?
Well, for one, you don't tell a child that because the child doesn't know the difference in it. And for one, they only know what they feel. And if what they feel is pain, that's exactly what they're going to tell you they feel. It's pain, not pressure.
It's like you were numbed up. Guess what? Later on in life, I have these crazy immunities. So I'm guessing I wasn't numbed up enough, you son of
No,
a bitch.
not nearly
Any-
enough.
But anyways, so I get to the doctor and they're like, all right, root canal. And I'm like, oh man. And they're like, no, dude, it's not that bad, bro. Come on, we're here now. And I'm like, oh, they get in and they're like, oh no, we got to wait for the swelling and shit to go down.
Yeah.
So we drilled a hole in the back of the tooth. We're going to let that pressure come out and we'll see in a few days. We'll come back in a few days and we'll get this taken care of. I'm like, all right. It was like 4 years ago.
Yeah.
Dude, because like I got home and everyone's like, how's everything? And I'm like, blah, 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 root canal. And everyone's, ooh. And I'm like, you know what? I can't go back until it hurts. And when I go back and they're like, you should have. And I'm like, yep, I agree with you. What do we do now?
This is the situation that I'm in right now.
It's
I don't
spilled
care about
milk.
4 years ago. What's the situation now?
It's fucking spilt milk at this point, okay?
Yep.
If you want to go and try and pick that shit up and use it for your cereal, I'm going to go to a different dentist.
Speaking of dentists,
That's got to be a red flag, right?
I got to get off TikTok. And I'm sorry I didn't bring up TikTok, but I got to get off TikTok.
Yeah, man.
It's
Why
literally
talk to me about TikTok?
no, we're gonna talk about this, and I know what's gonna happen is they're gonna bring up these 3D printed fucking teeth that keep popping up, and I'm like, dude, this is crazy. Because you remember how you could get grills back in the day when we were like into hip hop and whatnot. Now you can get like a 3D printed grill that's your teeth. You just go in, they do the 3D scan of your mouth.
Yeah.
Go in, they 3D print you like these plastic, like super hard fucking teeth, and you put them in your mouth like a grill. And people are like eating. And I watched a lady, and she was like 70 years old, and she pops these things in, and she couldn't talk. Hey, I'm the time of my life. And then she's out there and she's fucking singing like Beyonce. And I'm like, I know this is fake as shit, but I'm like, she looks normal with these teeth in, and she looked like a witch when she didn't have them, man. I mean, the shit they can do is crazy.
I did. God rest his soul. I had a baseball coach. 1 year something happened and he ended up having to get all of his teeth removed.
Yeah,
then he had to wait
happens.
for it to heal so you can get your other teeth, your new teeth and everything. So yeah, like 1 week, I just remember this as a kid. 1 week he was fine, and then the next week his lips were further in his mouth than normal, and I'm just like, wow, he was like hard to talk but wasn't, and I mean, it ended up being a teeth thing. So yeah, I get it. I just haven't had a lot of really good experiences with it. I know I got 2 things coming up because that tooth eventually, like, I'm not an idiot. Well,
no, yeah, I feel the same.
I'm not a dumbass idiot. So I know that there's going to happen and whatnot. So anywho, off
dentists.
Camera,
yeah, when I ruin people, give you nightmares.
Yeah, off camera, we were talking a little bit about clocks, and to get everyone caught up. Okay, so the concept of wristwatches evolved over centuries, and the earliest timepieces were portable spring-driven clocks from the 15th century. The first wristwatch, as we know it today, was created in 1812 by, I believe it's pronounced Abraham. I'm not sure if I'm saying that correctly. It might be Abraham, but anyways, we're just going to say Abraham.
Yeah.
Louise, it could be Louis. Brigitte, it could also be Brigitte, for the Queen of Naples.
Correct us if
It's fascinating to
please.
see how timekeeping devices have evolved, isn't it? I'm not sure why I'm reading what the AI told me afterwards.
Charles is over here like freaking Ron Burgundy. You stay classy, San Diego.
I'm Ron Burgundy.
Oh, fuck yourself, God, San Diego.
Man, who typed question mark in the teleprompter?
Hey, you awesome. Ron, you poop mouth.
So anyways, I was upset, right? Because I was like, when was today's watch invented? And to be honest with you, that was a terrible question. And like, just completely off the wall. The internet pulled out what it did out of there. So congratulations. I have a lot of fun with this thing. One day I'll show you the duck with a snake head. And it's probably one of the most terrifying things ever. I was on a really random... The other day, I went to the shitter without my phone and started thinking about if I was wiping my ass the right way.
The one that gets me the most is the ones that if you do Florida Man and they do Florida Man, like the guys that go and wrangle like the gators and stuff.
Yeah, yeah,
You'll
yeah.
find the ones where they literally pull pythons out of toilets, and that scares the absolute living crap out of me.
Yeah, or back in you.
Yeah.
Anywho, I'm like, no, who ran the competition in England that led to the mechanics behind today's watch? See, that was the more specific part. And that was the competition that significantly advanced watch mechanics was the Longitude Prize in 1714. The British government offered this prize to anyone who could devise a method for accurately determining a ship's longitude at sea. This led to John Harrison, a self-taught clockmaker, inventing the marine chronometer, which greatly improved navigation and timekeeping accuracy. So then I was like, has there been any improvements? And they're like, raw. And I'm like, no, it doesn't make it easier. And I went, raw. And I'm like, to tell time. And it's absolutely. And I'm like, motherfucker, has there been any improvements to the watch's mechanics in regards to telling time since 1714?
A little bit.
And it went, yes, there's been about 7. The pendulum clock, the balanced wheel and spring, the anchor escapement. It could also be escapement. I'm not sure, however y'all pronounce
Yeah.
that. Temperature compensation in 1721. The marine chronometer in 1735. Quartz technology in 1960. And then, of course, the atomic clock in the 20th century. So the invention that significantly improved ocean time navigation was, of course, John Harrison's marine chronometer in 1735. Before 1735, traversing the ocean from England to New York was quite challenging and risky. Sailors relied on dead reckoning, which involved estimating their position based on speed, direction, also known as direction, depending on where you are, and time elapsed since the last known position. This method was prone to errors due to factors like the fucking wind, the movement of water, and of course, the lack of accurate timekeeping. You were mentioning maps before, like
Yeah,
S and A.
we're talking about maps. I sent you this thing about the inaccuracies of today's maps. It's relative to the size of certain things. There's a few in particular. Accuracy, if you Google the accuracy of the map.
Today, I think there was only like 27% landmass on Earth. I'm like, man, we know more about space than we do the water. That's crazy. We don't know spit about space. But anyway,
All right, so the map, where the map is relative location is 1/20,000th scale. At least 90% of the tested points are within 1/30th of an inch. Pretty damn good.
Mhm.
3/10 of an inch, three 1/100ths of an inch. Maps 1/20,000 scale smaller, 90% or less, 1/50th of an inch, 0.02 inches. But the issue is that they brought this up. It was Greenland is obviously way bigger on the map than what it is in real life. Alaska's a little bit smaller than what it's a little bit larger than what it actually is. Mexico is a little bit bigger than what it actually shows. And it's all just to show proportionate sizes so that everything looks like what it should if you're looking at it on a horizon scale is what I'm getting at. It's made for aesthetically pleasing to the eyeballs more than it is so the mental. But it really does fuck with people that are like big into geography and whatnot. Obviously, it was a TikTok video that literally the guy was like losing his mind over it. I'm like, it's not that big of a deal, but this guy he was pretty pissed
Yeah,
about it.
yeah. I think people are going outside and cutting grass with scissors, and
They're
then
not touching the grass. They're just going over there and
they're
cutting the
like
grass. Yeah.
putting it in a bowl and smoking it.
Yeah.
That's what they're
That's entirely
supposed to do.
possible.
'Cause I don't think anybody teaches you that you're not supposed to do that. Just do you remember who taught you how to wipe your ass? Just out of curiosity, just small.
I think after your parents wiping it as you were a baby, that you
I mean,
maybe
like
whoever told you this, I don't know.
I,
You just
I'm assuming my parents. I'm
yeah,
assuming my dad.
you
Right?
figure it out. Eventually,
That's what
you
I'm
just figure
saying.
it out.
That's the thought process. Am I even doing it right? Should I? And then I was like, should I be
Yeah,
going it? Should I be like butt cheek then?
right.
Or,
Do I got the
like, should
physics
I?
down? Am I doing it
No,
correctly? Is there a
it
step
got really
process to
weird.
this?
I got out of the bathroom much faster than normal. So where were you? I'm sorry.
Oh no,
But anywho, the maps and the size. So something I've noticed too about that as well. That other guy's probably just
well,
on drugs.
you can bring it up.
People
I mean,
people yell about things just to yell at them. For example, like we
absolutely.
took the Gulf of America away from Mexico. I think you got to be smoking a lot of drugs to be mad about something like that. I don't see any of these people. If you look into them yelling, go back in time because they've got Facebook and social media and shit.
Oh
Find
yeah.
out how much they're yelling about pedophiles and all this other shit. And if they don't talk about that at all and they just talk about the random things that piss you off, I don't know, maybe go find somebody else to listen to, but or
There's
take their opinion from.
there's people, Charles, that the Chiquita banana at one point had the sticker at the top towards the stem of the banana, and people were mad about that. They wanted it put back in the center of the banana.
You know what I'm mad about?
Are you shitting me? Like you're upset about that because it's
It's
in their
crazy.
way when they go to pull the peel back? Like, what the hell?
I think more people should be mad that we don't know who or what was the first reason that created the warning label on plastic bags can cause suffocation when eating. Like they've buried that story. Because you don't just wake up one day and go, hey, somebody could eat this bag. Let's put a caution label on it. That's not how America works.
No.
America works as a hot stove. You touch the stove. Oh, if that's hot, I'm never going to touch that again. There's your fucking warning.
Prime example was Tide Pods. Remember
Tide
this?
Pods,
You
right?
remember
Like,
this?
yeah, like now there's warning labels on Tide Pods.
Yeah.
So we cannot let the Tide Pod scenario end up like the plastic bags, and everyone's
Right.
just universally okay with the fact that there had to be this movement or something, right? And I wanted to know where it came from, what fucking state it was birthed in. I
Yeah.
promise you. So
Did
that's what gets me mad.
we
Not a
probably can
body
take a
odor.
wild guess on what state it is, but we're not. It's just gonna we'll
I thought for
speculate
sure
one of these
California.
days. California would be one of them, yeah, or
I thought
Florida.
for Florida. I don't know. I just think California's got like a vendetta against plastic bags, right? So
Yeah.
I was guessing that it was probably
Oh
California.
yeah, they're still hung up on the whole
They're super
fucking
anti-plastic
straws.
bag. Plastic bag. How about water
Yeah.
your fucking grass? I don't know.
When people from California come, there was a guy that came here. He worked at our Idaho office, and I trained him. He lived in California, and his buddy worked at Tesla or whatever. He was telling me that, like, he was amazed when he got here and he went to a fast food place that they actually had plastic straws. He was like,
Yeah,
I thought
yeah.
this shit was
Those were
everywhere.
out there.
I'm like, they did try to do it
Yeah,
here for a little while, but I think it just fizzled right the fuck
yeah.
out.
I feel bad for the little people in LA and shit that all that happened to,
Oh,
but
absolutely.
besides all of that, listen. Warning: if you have feelings and you allow them to get hurt based off of things you're choosing to listen to or read on the internet, mute us or pause us or whatever you got to do to get past this point real quick. But like the greatest photo I saw, right? And it wasn't that
Yeah.
there was anything great about it, but it was like the photo of like the Palisades or however you say
Yeah, the
it.
Palisades, yeah.
And they were on fire. And right next to it was this massive body of water. And it was like, yo, figure this out over here. What are you doing? That blows. Oh, it's salt water. This fucking science. There is literally a bottle of chemical that you can use and go, and then take a rag and wipe the fucking hair off your body.
Yeah.
Okay, you mean to tell me you can't use salt water like you can't figure out a way to use salt water to water your fucking yard? Look, the whole ocean is right there, bro. The whole fucking ocean
Oh,
is
they
right
could.
there,
This
dude.
is 1,000% political, and it's bring it down and break it down to the simple fact that they don't know what the fuck they're doing in that state.
Yeah,
Been ran into the fucking ground for years.
but they're bro. Everyone we meet from that state is fucking awesome. Like
Yeah,
the moment we meet anybody that's come on the show,
yeah,
for
it's
the, I
well,
mean, oh man, you live. How do you live in California? What? That's
yeah,
fucking crazy.
like the teacher we had, the comedian, yeah,
Him,
the principal of comedy,
the
yeah.
principal of comedy, and then Arnold, that
Yeah.
guy.
Unfortunately, Charles, I don't think it's a terrible place to live. It's just
Man.
it's a terrible place
Oh
to
no, I'm
it's a
sure it's a
terrible place
gorgeous
to
place,
try to raise kids and make money,
but it's
probably.
just weird to me, right?
Yeah.
What? What the? What?
If you're gonna live anywhere, live in
That
Northern
one lake
California.
was almost drowned because, like, it was almost gone because of all the water you took, and then it rained, and all this water came back, and then you're like, oh, it's too much water, and you put it back out in the ocean, and you're like, what?
Yeah,
You
instead of
what?
building a reservoir. Okay, I do know
Jesus.
one thing. The lady that was on there that they kept questioning and asking her why did they run dry? Why were
Yeah,
all the
yeah, yeah,
hydrants
yeah, yeah.
dry? Apparently she was trying to get that fixed, but they wouldn't give her the funding. And it
They,
wasn't her fault. It was city politics.
oh yeah, no, very
It
much
was
so. Yeah, they
absolute
took
bullshit.
7.1 million and redirected it from the emergency, even
Yeah.
after the chief was like, "Yo, if this any of this shit
But
happens, we're
but
fucked."
still, you should have had a backup plan, like something in place. It just
Well, no,
makes
that
no
was the
sense.
backup plan. Yeah, no, that
Yeah,
was yeah,
they
the city
okay, so they
officials.
fucked the backup plan
Yeah,
up
yeah,
even
yeah.
trying to
Oh
back it
yeah.
up. Yeah.
Oh, you could get the letter from the city, the chief of police or chief of fire department, whatever it was.
All right,
But
yeah, and I did. I'll have to send you the RFK files as well. Speaking of, yeah, spoiler alert, Charles and I will be breaking down the
yeah,
recently released RFK files.
that's where the maps conversation got us.
Yeah.
But anywho, the reason we were talking about maps and all the time and all of this was because it was super interesting that you couldn't go from point A to point B without being 600-700 miles left or right until 1713. And arguably,
That's
and
why it
there's
took like
been
6 months to a year to navigate the fucking waters because they were going back and forth like a zigzag pattern.
yeah, yes. And here's the weird thing, right? So time does this 3-1-3 or 3-2-2 thing, right? So from 1656 to 1671 was pretty much like 1656 was the first pendulum clock, right? But you still had sundials or some shit. This is where it gets interesting, right? It's like that question, oh, the toothbrush was invented in 1816. And it's what the fuck were people doing before that? They're just grabbing a branch on the way to work and just branching their shit? Or like, how did the cavemen eat meat? That's crazy to me. They don't even have claws. Can't get me talked about that again. So anywho, so from 1656 to 1671, there was to the change, but nothing happened again until 1721. And then again in 1735, and that's because we couldn't cross the ocean. And then, of course, nothing happened again, bro, from 1735 to 1960s.
Yeah.
What? What? Time is so funny, dude. It's so funny. When you're enjoying life, time is flying by. Go to work, time sucks. Time's different for everyone. There's some people that argue time is just perception. Time isn't even real. Time's something we created. Maybe.
That's the whole
Why the
theory of they taking the paper, punching a hole through it, and then
yeah,
pulling it back apart, and it's linear, non-linear, non-linear, and then you
yeah.
go through the hole. Yeah, that's what the word. It's how to explain a wormhole. Did you know that certain spiders hear vibration, but they hear it in a phonic sense, like
Yeah.
it's almost like Morse code to them. So when you sometimes if you're humming or you're singing a song, you're actually attracting spiders.
Yeah.
Certain
I don't mind
certain
spiders.
harmonics attract spiders. I thought that was weird.
Yeah, there's one right there. Oh, there
Yeah.
was. Don't know where he went now. Must be out hunting or something.
Yeah.
I do leave dumb spiders out to remind the smart spiders not to fuck
Well,
around.
if they're way up in the corner, I assume they're doing their job and they're
Uh,
killing stuff. But
if I
when they're
get
crawling
yeah,
around the
I
ground,
got them. I got them crawling on the ground or crawling on the ceiling, especially the ceiling. I'll leave a dead spider or two up there for a bit, just
yeah, well,
so.
it's a
And
snack.
hey, listen, you got to think primitive sometimes. And the way I look at it, I'm watching fucking Ancient Aliens and National Geographic and shit. And like these tribes from the Amazon, you know how they would keep fucking people away? They would put their enemies' heads on stakes and put them out like their
Yeah.
front gate and shit, right? I'm like, that's gotta work. Otherwise, you wouldn't have done it, right? Who the fuck's gonna walk by that smell? That smell's gotta be terrible, right? I'm not going by the East Gate. That fucking body's been there for 6 months, dude. Fuck you. Let's go to the West Gate. No, you just walk by it because, hey, this is why I can go to the West Gate. That body's been there for 6 fucking months.
Right. Nobody's been there for a while. Let's go.
Yeah,
It's
it's
safe.
safer. It's safer, right? That fucking spider right there, dead on the ceiling. I ain't had a spider crawling around up over here. They get it.
Yeah.
Primitive thinking.
Death.
how did the cavemen eat meat?
We still haven't answered that question. We brought it up 3 times on the show. We're like, "How did they ever think about cooking the food?" You're like, "What they do? Just all of a sudden wrestling around on the ground with a pig leg, and then somebody accidentally tossed it in the fire, and then they all got burnt trying to take it out. Then once the fire went out, they took the food off and they started eating it. What the fuck?
Have you ever ripped
Yeah.
meat off of a cow, like a dead cow, like killed a cow, and then was like, did you ever just try and rip the skin off that motherfucker?
But yeah, I try doing it whenever I do like by smoking my pork. There's always
Yeah,
skin and fat. Not
yeah.
it's pretty fucked up. It sucks.
Without a knife?
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. And then at what point do you just fuck it?
How many people probably died back then of like
Do you,
dysentery and
do you think they ate themselves and that's what led them to eat animals? Like
I
Terry?
I bet you they did because I did they not find like bone marks like from what the hell is that? What's that really sharp fucking stone that they use for like broadheads and stuff?
Oh, that's science. I don't fucking
Ah,
know
no,
what
no,
you're
no, no,
talking
no.
about.
It's a rock. It's a
Granite or some shit like that.
no. It's
No,
yeah. Granite was one of them, but
that's not my forte. Anyways, I know arrowheads.
we were talking about obsidian. Yeah, obsidian. We should know because of World of Warcraft and shit. We just fuck that really pissed me off that I didn't know that obsidian. So they would like shale. They'd hit it a piece of obsidian. That shit is so sharp. It's sharper than razor blades.
Yeah.
And people used to fucking dick around with that stuff. They used to be by the railroad tracks back home in the UP
Yeah.
because it's by
Yeah.
coal. They find it by coal and iron ore. Yeah, people would be fucking chipping that shit off. That stuff used to cut so many people's fingers. And if you look at the damn thing, it doesn't even look cool. It's just black. It looks like black glass.
Huh. Yeah, maybe they. Dude, it'd be really nice to think that like cavemen had these elegant forks and spoons made of
Is that
obsidian.
we
Like
think
the
that
fucking Flintstones, man.
I don't understand half of this stuff. Like we were looking up the whole pyramids in the Templars and the UP and all these things like that.
Portugal. I was just watching about
Yeah,
Portugal
there's
Templars.
crazy stuff. But
Yeah.
even in the UP, that's under 40 feet of water. So that had to
Yeah.
have that was not underwater right there at one point. That was not flooded.
No, during one of the
Yeah.
ice ages, there's ridges on the like inside one of the lakes that have like foundational huts and shit from old hunting trails for the fucking deer or whatever the hell they had back
Isn't
then.
that crazy to think that like mastodons and stuff were just roaming around in our backyards back home?
Yeah.
Like 15, 12,
Dude,
15,000 years ago?
I wonder what kind. There's two caves, the one in Antarctica and one in China, and like people are like, oh, blah blah blah, investigation, blah blah blah, blah blah blah. But
The
it,
China one is completely shut down except for the Chinese government,
yeah,
correct?
yeah, yeah, yeah.
And I
And
believe the
Antarctica,
Antarctica one, you have to be invited as a scientist or an
yeah,
archaeologist
yeah,
to be
yeah,
able to
yeah.
even go. Yeah.
Yes. So I'm waiting for them to find the plant down there that's going to cure cancer. They've already
Or
cancer.
it's a
I don't give a
plant that
fuck.
you get around it and you inhale the fumes from it, the dust or the spores, and it kills you and it
Yeah,
causes an
everyone
alien
thinks that.
outbreak. You
That
don't think
always
so?
there's enough of those all over. Don't worry.
Uh,
The ice caps are melting and zombie virus will be free. Blah 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 blah. I don't care
Did
about
you
the bad stuff.
did
I'm talking
you
about the good stuff.
did you ever hear about
Got to be some good
that's a
stuff.
good one to get into, the zombie virus, the virus that literally decimated and killed and ate all the fucking organs out of all the animals and whatnot. Apparently, if you can think of any virus back then, if in the history of the world, if you want to really break it down, it probably was there and it happened
Oh yeah, yeah, yeah.
over the
Oh,
history of
very much
time.
so.
It's fucked up.
Pfizer's been around for 175 years and they haven't cured one fucking thing.
Well, that's true. We broke that down in an episode too.
Yeah. But yeah, so the RFK, JFK, the FK files. They'll
That'll
be
either
coming up
be a
soon.
Monday or a Tuesday episode, depending on after the Super Bowl what you guys want to do.
Yeah, that'll be exciting. Lots of football to talk about.
Yeah.
Lots of sports ball to talk about
Oh,
tomorrow.
there's so
So
much stuff going on.
yeah, pretty excited
I
about
can't
that.
wait to get into all the sports tomorrow. Basketball.
Gosh dang sports ball. Oh goodness gracious! But it smells like my lasagna is getting pretty close.
There
So,
you go. That's
would you
usually
like
old
to?
sniffer.
Would you like to add anything else to the table?
No, we're only what are we here? We're only 2 months out from the
The
draft,
NFL
Charles.
draft. So we've got a lot of news coming up. We're going to be diving deep into some Green Bay Packer talk here in about 3-4 weeks. Of course, if anything crazy does happen, we'll be here to tell you about it. Alien or football related, of course. The JFK RFK files. Anticipating there being a whole lot of pages with redacted baloney on it. Probably not going to know a lot, but if there's more pages than there's supposed to be, if nothing happened, then we can all agree that not all conspiracy theorists are crazy.
There's a basis theory out there, and if it lets you allow you, I guess, if it allows you to go through it and with a fine-tooth comb and break through what actually was in it before and what isn't in it now. Like you said, things are going to be redacted, obviously for national security, but there's a lot of it in there that more about the shooters and stuff like that because it's been so long now. It's the people that were even involved in it are probably all passed away. So what does it even matter at this point? Yes, it would be nice to get justice. It'd be nice to get some answers.
So, alrighty, man. I can't wait. Can't wait. It'll be a fun week. It'll be a fun week. And hopefully by next week, I'll have at least a link to get you to you as listeners, if you wanted it, to the proper butt wiping techniques.
Oh
I'm not
yeah,
sure
not a
YouTube
video.
video out there or something.
We can create a cartoon.
Yeah, well, yeah. I might even just ask the internet, but I don't know if I want this. Like, wish.com ads are already fucking crazy out there.
It
Shit's
won't be
fucking wild.
wish.com, Charles. It'll be, it depends. It'll be hitting you up hardcore as an adult.
We do talk about poop a lot
We
this
do.
off
We talked
season.
about the
360 pounds for the average
yeah, a
person.
ton. If you're Paul, you're gonna need them depends because I don't know how you're getting that freaking liquid dookie.
There was that moment when we talked about grabbing diarrhea with our yeah. All right.
I didn't talk about it, but Paul definitely did.
All right.
We both
Listen.
looked at him.
Well, as long as we know, we've always got our fans, we've always got our listeners, we've always got our commenters, which means one thing for sure, that we are not alone. And that we, in fact, have never been alone.